Welcome back to Grafting Dragonfruit. I'm Richard, and in this video today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a simple and super affordable trellis system for your dragonfruit. And before we start this video, I just wanted to let you know that I partnered with Function Health, a platform that focuses on giving you deep insights into your health. I chose Function because it's the only health platform that gives you access to the kind of data that people never see and steps to take action. Ever since getting my results a few months ago on the Function platform, I went to work to improve my health. I started weightlifting and exercising more consistently. They give you food suggestions and which ones to avoid. I also incorporated some supplements from the information to help improve the biomarkers that were out of range. I'm looking forward to seeing how these changes will help and see my progress at the 6-month follow-up. With Function, you can test over 100 biomarkers from heart and hormones to toxins, inflammation, and stress. You can also access multi-region MRI and CT scans, all tracked in one secure place over time. Lab visits are fast and convenient at over 2,000 locations across the United States. It's $499 per year, and that makes it only $1.37 per day for cutting-edge health insights. Function Health is offering a $100 credit for first-time members to my subscribers. Learn more and join using my link in the video description below or scan this QR code to get signed up. Be sure to take advantage and control of your health today. Now let's get back to the video. So if you guys see my channel, I like to do the trellis system with using 2x4s and 4x4s. That one is very good permanent setup. And I always recommend you doing that type of setup if you know that you like your dragon fruit and you want to put it in your garden where you're going to keep it there for the next 5 to 7 years. But I'm starting to run out of space, and it costs a lot of money to create those permanent trellis. So I wanted to find something smaller and more affordable, so that way I can have more dragon fruits within my garden and not waste all that precious space on the permanent setup. The permanent setup is for the dragon fruits that I have tasted already and have proven to me that I really like them. And once I've gone through with growing them, getting them to flower and tasting the fruit, and if they taste amazing, then they get to have a stay here on the permanent setup in my garden. But these setup here are just temporary. And the reason I made this is because if you guys watch my channel, I like to do a lot of dragon fruit grafting. And when you're grafting a dragon fruit seedling for the first time, you don't know what it tastes like. You don't know what to expect from that type of fruit. So this setup is gonna help me try them for the very first time. So why waste space and money on a permanent setup like these ones here? It takes a lot of time, effort. You got to buy the wood, you got to cut them, so it takes a lot more work to create those permanent setup. And what if the seedling that I grew and grafted did not taste good? So I would have wasted all that money putting on a permanent setup and time and labor for me to remove it because it didn't taste good. But these ones cost me about, I want to say under $40. Very cost effective. And this is going to help me taste the varieties that I didn't get to try yet for the very first time. And when I create these setup, it's mainly to just try the varieties. So you're expecting to have this temporary setup for about 1 to 2 years. You can push 3 years if everything is doing fine. You just got to make sure that it's very well maintained. Okay, so now that you know that this setup is just for temporary use, just to try your fruit, or a lot of people like to grow and collect dragon fruit, but end up leaving it in their 1 gallon. And instead of leaving that 1 gallon because people don't have the money, the budget, the time to create the permanent setup, these ones you can do very quick. So that way you can get them into something that supports the dragon fruit, and they can fruit sooner than if you were to just leave them in a 1 gallon pot, which a lot of the times I see people get dragon fruit, don't know what to do with them, and think that it can just grow freely within a 1 gallon. And sometimes they up pot it and still don't have a trellis system. So I'm hoping that this setup here is simple and affordable enough so that way you can get all these trellis set up for your garden and start having a thriving dragon fruit garden in your backyard. So if you guys are ready, let's get straight to it. We are gonna go over all the supplies you're gonna need to create this simple trellis setup. We're gonna start with finding the tomato trellis. This is gonna be your backbone of your trellis, and this is gonna help support all of that weight. So you know how dragon fruit likes to climb up. This is gonna give it a chance to finally climb, and once it reaches the top, it can canopy over. So this is a 42-inch heavy-duty tomato trellis. You can find this at your big box store. Go to the garden section and ask them if they have the 42-inch heavy duty. The heavy duty one is important because Dragonfruit gets really heavy and you need that heavy duty material to support all of that weight. You can do the 52-inch, but I find that the 42-inch fits a lot better in the 15-gallon tall pot. So your second item that you're gonna need is a 15-gallon tall nursery pot. So this cost me about $4, fairly cheap. You can find it at your local nursery. Sometimes hydroponic stores also sell these types of pots, but I find have better luck finding them at your local nursery. And sometimes it's a lot cheaper because they buy in bulk. There's a lot of them. This 42-inch heavy-duty tomato trellis ran me about $10. So fairly good price to use for the next year or two, right? And the next item you're gonna need is 1/2-inch, 5-foot EMT conduits. You can buy the 10-foot one and cut it in half yourself. You'll save a couple bucks by doing that. The 10-feet one run about $6 for about 10 feet. So if you cut them in half, that's about $3 per 5 feet EMT conduits. I like to save time, and I find it a little hard for me to cut them because I don't have the proper tools. They do already cut them for you at your big box store. So you can buy the 5-foot one pre-cut, just like how I did, but the only difference is the price. It's gonna run you about $5 and some change. But you know what? For the sake of time and just to buy other tools to cut them, I just went ahead and buy the 5-foot one to make it easier on me. But again, if you're on a budget and you already have the tools and you want to cut them yourself and save some money, go ahead and buy the 10-feet one and cut them in half. It's gonna do the same thing. And you're gonna need 3 of them, okay? 3 5-foot conduits. We also have some heavy-duty zip ties. This is just what I have laying around, but this is also gonna run you about $5 to $10, depending how many quantities you bought. I bought a 100 pack here, and this was about 10 bucks. Just make sure you guys get the heavy-duty one because you're gonna be using zip ties to hold all of this structure on, and you want it to last for a good time. If you don't want to use zip ties, you can always buy the steel wire, and you can also twist them on. I didn't get the chance to buy the steel wire yet, but if I ever see them starting to degrade by the sun and the UV snapping them off, I'll start to reinforce them back with the steel wire. And some other tools that you might need to help you make this quicker is a power drill. You're gonna need to drill some holes into the pot, so that way you can zip tie the structure onto the pot so it stays on very well. And just some scissors to cut all of the zip ties once you put them on. So now that we went over all the supplies, let's go ahead and put it together. The first thing I like to do, guys, is these tomato trellis comes bent in like this. So when you get them, they are already preset to have these stakes here are a little bent in. And all I did was I held it by the bottom and I kept bending it out. So you bend it out slowly. You don't want to do it too hard because it might snap these rods if it just starts to play too much with it. So you want it to be wide enough so when you put it in there, it's enough force and pressure from being extended to keep it kind of settled in there. Don't worry, it's gonna wiggle a little bit and that's fine. That's why we have the 1/2-inch EMT conduits. That's what's gonna really stabilize all of the structure. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get to the building part. When I was doing this by myself, it took about 10 to 15 minutes per pot. So it's very easy and very quick. And I was able to build 5 of them within an hour and a half. I did take little breaks, but an hour and a half, I would be able to only build maybe 2 of the permanent trellis setups. And it would have cost me way, way more to have that. Okay, so I want you guys to look inside now to what to expect. See how I bend these stakes here? It's as close as it can be to the nursery pot, and that's what you want. You're gonna have a little gap here, but that's okay. I'm gonna show you guys a way to zip tie it so that way it stays center, straight, and won't move at all. And I'll show you guys by lifting it how sturdy it's gonna be. Okay, next step is the EMT conduits. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna weave them in one time, and you're gonna match every one of these stakes that are on here. So there's 3, so then you're gonna wanna follow right next to it. So I put it in first, and then I weave it in like this. And we're gonna go straight down and just lay it right next to the guided stake that's already there. It's gonna flip and turn around because the weight isn't distributed evenly yet. But once we have all these stakes on, these EMT conduits on, it's gonna make it stand right up. Okay, so here I go inside, And then I weave it right in like this, and we're putting in. Just 2 in already, and I already feel the structure getting a lot better. Here we go, last one. We're gonna do the same thing. In, weave it through, and stick it right down. And the moment you put that third one in, make sure that it hits all the way down to the bottom of your pot. You don't want it to be levitating, and that's how you're gonna get some wiggle and wobbling. Now that I have everything on, I'm just gonna make sure that it is centered, everything is on the bottom of the pot. And if they're kind of separated like this, make sure you guys just pull it in, because we're gonna be zip tying all these together very closely. Okay. Now, you guys see, we haven't even zip tied it yet, and it's already standing pretty well, right? Next step is adding some zip ties to reinforce this before we drill some holes, and then zip tying it to the pot. Okay, we're gonna use about, let's see, 3 times 4, about 16 zip ties for this whole setup. So let's start with the top. Let's go this way. I like to go under and over. This is just gonna wrap it. And I'm just squeezing it in like this and zip tying it. So everything is kind of loose when I first start. So if I need to readjust or tighten anything, there's a little bit of slack for me to make my adjustments. So don't zip tie it super tight when you guys put it on yet, okay? Wait until all the zip ties are on, then you can come back and adjust anything if you need it, and then boom, start pulling all those ties to get them really tight. Right now, I'm just wanting the structure to hold, so that way when I put on the other zip ties, it's staying on very well. So I always start with the top first, just like that. Now they're on. So next, I am actually gonna go down. I'm gonna go down to here, skip this one, and then we're gonna go down and drill some holes. So let's go ahead and zip tie this as well. Sorry for the mixing of colors, guys. It's just what I have. I'm just trying to be resourceful and use them all before I use the new ones. So same direction on how I zip tie the top. We're gonna do under and over, tighten it. Under and over, zip. I'm not making it too tight yet, but I will come back and tighten it all up once I'm ready. Okay. Now I want to push all these conduits down, make sure everything's good, and then I also push this down, the tomato trellis, to make sure everything's flush. We're gonna do a visual inspection to make sure everything is good. Okay, I'm ready to now start drilling holes. So this drill here is 3/8 in size. You guys can use any type of drill bit that you have that will fit your zip tie. So it doesn't have to be this exact measurement. You're gonna drill some holes in your pots, and that's okay. Dragonfruit likes good draining soil, so these holes will only help it drain more water. So you guys are afraid of it making it look ugly, you can use black zip ties, and sometimes it'll blend right in. Okay, I'm ready to drill now. So we're gonna drill at the very bottom, and I'm gonna be about 1 inch to 1.5 inches to the top. So we want the very bottom to be structuredly tied. Okay, so I'm gonna go about right here, and then we're gonna go right next to it, and then we're gonna do another one. I want to say about 1.5 inches, 2 inches again, not too high, right there. Alrighty. Next step is go ahead and zip tie that. Make sure it holds in one spot. So when you're drilling all of the other holes, this isn't shifting around, and it can change the angle of the trellis. So zip tie it first before you guys drill your other holes. Want to make sure nothing moves as we keep on drilling holes. In like this. Okay. And these ones you can do tight right away because you don't want it to move. So I'm gonna go to the bottom and just weave my zip tie to the other side. We're gonna do the same thing. It's a little hard at first, but once you get used to it, you're gonna be zooming through these zip ties. Okay. We're gonna want to repeat that step on the other 2 conduits. And once we get there, I'm gonna show you how to wrap everything up. We're very close to being finished. Only have to drill 4 more holes and then add on a few more zip ties and we're gonna be done. It's very quick and very easy. I think that's the main thing, is making it easy enough so that everybody can do it, affordable enough so that people aren't breaking the bank trying to grow dragon fruit. So I really hope this setup serves its justice and helps all of you guys out that are just starting to grow dragon fruit, or if you're an experienced grower and just have so many varieties like me and want to add more, this is going to provide that for you. It doesn't take up too much space and you can start growing more varieties, because we know that there's just so many varieties that we want. Once you start growing dragon fruit, it becomes very addicting and you're going to want them all. It's like collecting Pokemon to me in a way, but for adults. I would say drilling the holes is probably the hardest part about making this trellis. But if you know how to use a drill, then I don't think you should have any problems creating this one. And you only got to drill 6 holes, so it should be okay. Okay, these are the last holes that we need to zip tie. And then after that, we're going to add 3 more zip ties to this structure here, and then we are done. And of course, at the end, remember I told you guys, we haven't tightened everything yet. We gave it some slack, so make sure you go back and do all of the tightening with the zip ties before you end and finish up your trellis. All right, here we are. Okay, I do need to add 3 more zip ties to this side, but just let me show you guys how well it is structured already. You ready? One hand. Check that out. And it's all done by zip ties and EMT conduits. So I think this is going to be very good for you to start off your dragon fruit, to grow them and get them to fruit for the very first time. At least you guys will get to try the fruit if you have this type of setup. Okay. All right. So the last 3, we're going to go ahead, get those on and tighten everything up, and we're finished. So I told you guys about the gap, right? This is what I was talking about. If you drill your holes too high, this gap here will actually pull the pot in and it will deform your pot. So you don't want to do that. So keep that in mind and make the drill holes mostly at the bottom, because the stake is already kind of bent that way. It's going to help it from indenting that pot and zip tying it, you know, inward in. So just a little tip for you guys on that part. So if you see that it's starting to pull your pot in like that, that just means you guys got to put the zip ties lower. That's it. Don't worry about the top part. This is why we have this here. We're going to start zip tying this part now. So same thing, I'm doing over, under, and over. And I'm holding this to get it tighter. So now I can zip tie. You guys saw how now it's really close to the pull. And that's what you want. So that's why I leave it at the last step and I leave slack. It's so that I can make this pliable and bend it as I'm zip tying it. So here we go again. I'm holding it, pull zip tight. You saw how it flushed everything. Show you guys again how this one is like that. Go in with your zip tie, hold it with your hand. And if you're not strong enough, have your husband or have your son, someone that's strong and have good grip to help you with that. Okay. All right, it is done. Last step is tightening all of the rest of the zip ties, cutting them so that way they're not popping out and looking ugly like this. And we are set to grow dragon fruit. So I'm just gonna go around now, guys, making sure all this is nice and tight now. Oh, there you go. Yep. And the bottom ones I already tightened very well, but it's always good to go back down there to check, just in case anything shifted or moved. You can get it locked back in. Yep. Okay. And you're wondering, when do you use the scissors, Richard? And that's right now. The last step is cutting all of this to make it look pretty. As you can see, your zip ties don't have to be too long. You can get a little shorter, so that way you don't have to cut off so much like me. But again, I told you guys, this is just what I had and I wanted to use it all. But for now, I'm very happy I have this many trellis. So I got, now this one makes it 6. I have 6 done. I saved this last one so then that way I can show you guys how to make it. Okay. So once I cut the bottom ones, I like to do this and just kind of dump it out, getting all the debris and all the cut plastic that could fall in there to come out. Okay. And that is it. I hope that was simple and easy enough for you guys to follow and build this trellis. And that way you can get started on growing a lot of dragon fruit just like me. So as you can see, let me just show you guys again. Holds on very well. We want it to stand upright. And so the one thing I want to just tell you guys when you guys use this is make sure you guys are aggressive with the pruning. You don't want them to get too long or too many branches on one side. It's gonna favor that weight on one side and eventually lean over. This is a tall pot, so the base of it isn't as wide where it can take all of that weight on one side. So be mindful of that, you guys. My goal here is just to get them to fruit for the very first time. So I'm not trying to like grow a bunch of cuttings on it and sell cuttings. It's to try the fruit, mainly to try the fruit. So I'll let cuttings grow. The sub branches probably grow to about 7 or 8 inches. Tip them so they don't grow any more longer horizontally and just swell up. So I'm probably gonna stick out about this much only, so that way it's easy to maintain. You can leave the canopy on this top, and you can also put some canopy down here. So it can be a 2-tier canopy with this one. And just make sure, prune it, tip them, so that way the branches isn't growing so long. And within a year and a half, if you're doing all of that and you have this trellis on, you should be able to have fruit and get your first set of flowers so you can pollinate them and try the fruit for the very first time. Or if you already tried it and just want more dragon fruit to set up, this will provide that for you guys. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys liked it, please give me a like. It's going to help the algorithm pick me up and show the rest of the world how to grow dragon fruit successfully. If you guys have any comments or want me to put down all of the pricing on this, it'll be in my description. I can also explain it to you guys. Leave all those questions in the comments and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. And if you guys have not subscribed to this channel yet, hit that subscribe button so that way you guys won't miss a single thing. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Grafting Dragonfruit. Peace.